Grand Rising. This is Ariel. I'm about to make a video real quick. Just had some things on my mind that I wanted to discuss and talk about. I'm not trying to get up yet, but I do want to talk about something. I have always had a thought about children being newly from the Most High, like when they're birthed into this realm and you watch them grow and you listen to them talk and they tell you things. If you listen, children will tell you some very highly spiritual and very interesting things about life and yourself or themselves. And I'm sitting here thinking, and I was reading, and the time between birth and 7 are highly important for children. Very, very important. And in what I was reading, first of all, I need you to think about why children are always attacked in this construct, in this world. There's a reason for that. They are pure between birth and 7. So they're like a canvas. It's like a blank canvas. So as their parents or caretakers, we have to be very, very meticulous with what they are open to, or what's open to them, or what is around them, because they're like sponges at this time. This is the reason why I say points of contact are so important. Getting rid of the points of contact. Meaning, if people believe a certain way and you don't believe in that way, or you don't believe in those ideologies or those things, you have to protect your children and yourself from those things. We all know a thought can poison a mind. A simple thought. 2 seconds, 3 seconds of a visual on a television, or words coming from a television or a radio, can poison a malleable mind. I need you to understand that. Now, when you sit and you watch television for children, quote unquote, it is very much not for children. Like a lot of these things, a lot of these shows are using or utilizing the child mind to run their construct. And when I say that, this is what I mean. So if you open up a child to the left side of esotericism or esoteric, things of an esoteric nature, if you open their mind to the left side, number one, they're a child. They have no defense. They don't understand really what they're watching. So a person who has that mentality or the thought process of a evil wizard or sorcerer knows what they're doing. They know how to activate instantly the right areas of the mind. Now, usually in children, the areas of the mind that they're trying to activate, it is not time for those areas to be activated. But because children are such innocent and vibrant beings. Anything you give them to manifest, they do it easily, without thought, without a certain process. They are magnificent manifestors because of this, because which makes sense, because this is why the scripture says, it talks about children so much. It's trying to convey a message to us, a message that a lot of us aren't getting. Because if we were getting that message, we would be a little more careful about the things that we allowed our children to be open to and allowed our children access to, and things that we allowed access to our children. Now, because of their ability to manifest all these things, understand that's what the programming, child programming is not for children at all. Child programming is for the construct, because you're talking about beings that have no creativity. Think about it. Look at what we're seeing in our world. These beings don't have the ability to create, so they have to hijack others' creations. Look at the world. You'll see it. They have to hijack another being's creation. So, because we're out here trying to get the bag or secure the bag, and we have these babies, and we don't have the constructs that we used to have, like they're really nil to none, very few to none grandparents now. And if there are grandparents, they still have to work. So gone are the days that you knew if you had to work, your mother or your father or someone in the family could watch out for the younger people of the family and be there and be cognizant of not allowing certain things to go down or transpire in order to protect that innocent, beautiful, malleable mind. Through their programming, quote unquote, again, child programming, they use our children as batteries because they're innocent. They don't understand what they're seeing or what they're watching. That's the parents' job to determine this. But we've gotten to the point that spirituality is non-existent in most homes. We don't even think about it. It's an afterthought. When spirituality is the reality. The 3D is all illusion. So we leave our babies defenseless. Trust me, I know, and I'm not. This isn't to ostracize or say you're a bad parent. You're a bad parent. I just want to make you aware of how the moments that you're choosing to leave your child with a TV or with a radio or with an iPad or an iPhone or what have you, I want you to understand, a laptop or what have you, I want you to understand these are portals to get to your most sacred treasure, your baby. These are portals to them, and they're using them to run their construct, because most of us are done. Most of us are like, nah, I'm not down for this program. But we're forgetting to protect the kids. And I love talking to my daughter, like she's on it. Like these young people, they're on it. Like these 20-somethings and younger, they're on it. They have an understanding of the programming. Like, it's crazy. The conversations I have with my daughter, if I would have known, I mean, My children think I did a good job, but I see places where I let things in, where I tried to, my agenda was to make their childhood as pure as I possibly could, which is hard in this construct. You have to be present, you have to do action, you have to work toward helping them become better. So I don't think a lot of us have our heads buried in the sand because we're in denial about how bad this thing really is. I'm saying to you, what would happen if we followed the points, if we severed the points of contact, meaning school, working outside of our neighborhoods, if we created a our own nation within a nation, and we made sure we followed certain dynamics, if we went by scripture per se. I go by scripture because that's what I know to be my foundation. That's what I was always taught. I mean, I listened to my grandfather read the Bible to me for years, and it came alive within me. I think a lot of the times it's one of the main things that protected me or saved me. We had a TV in the home, but my grandfather was so active and such an animated person, and he liked to, um, we never wore shoes. I never wore shoes while I was growing up in the house, not if we were going to do fun things. So if we went to the swamp meet and we went downtown or whatever, it was done barefoot. I mean, I would have a backpack on my back with flip-flops or whatever. So if it was a place where we needed shoes, then we would put on the flip-flops. But for the most part, we walked around town barefoot. Now, I can only count on my hand maybe twice that I was really sick when I was growing up, but neither time had anything to do with a physical ailment. It was more of an emotional thing or feverish kind of thing, of which I never got the straight of that. But there are so many things that we could avoid, or we could sever that ability for our children. We could give them a higher chance to reaching the goals that we're trying to reach now. We're trying to forget everything we learned. We could, for them, if we were so inclined to, create a village, a city, a town, whatever, for these children where we cut off the points of contact, the police, the schools, their churches, their religion, their ideologies, their thought process. We could alleviate that. Now, of course, there has to be some sort of order. So if I were to be in a village, or if I were to migrate toward a village, it would be a village that believed in the same things I believed in. It would be a village of, yes, we gotta have to work to make our food. We have to grow our own food. We did it before. It's not a big deal. Like, we just have to learn how to foster what we want to see. So if we took the time to do that, and we took the time to allow these children to grow in a harmonious environment where they use their imagination, where they got closer to their creator and they thought about, what was the creator doing when he did this? What was the creator doing when he did that? Like, what does this mean? Like, those times when you're alone, or maybe not alone, but you're discovering your world. And in that moment you're being and you're asking, even without you maybe even thinking about it, you're asking these questions of the Most High, of Source. You're asking these questions in your mind for them to be answered later on. But we have to take the negative. We have to take the negative things we've learned and we have to remove those negative things for our children. Like, listen to me when I tell you, I have not watched TV for 6 years now. Yes, from time to time I go on YouTube because I want to learn certain things, or I want to understand an illness or how to fix something, or how the body works this way or that way. And I want to understand how it could be fixed, possibly. But for the most part, I don't inundate myself with the bull crap. I have no time for the fuckery. And we all should be there. We all should be getting there. We see where this place is going. But what I am saying to you, if we take the time to really parent, think about it. Think about the things that are going on within our community, the things that affect us. Let's think about that for a minute. Like, listen, my other brothers and sisters, my non-melanated brothers and sisters, I have nothing against you, but I have a specific message that you may not understand. I love you. I really do. But the melanated brothers and sisters need to understand things that maybe you already understand. Or maybe you don't, I don't know. But to me, in order for people that look like me to make it and to thrive, not just survive, but thrive, there are things, habits, habitual habits that we have to change within ourselves. Our children are young. If we do our due diligence now, we see what's going down. The definition of insanity is keep doing the same thing and expecting change, and no change is in sight. Something different has to occur. We know this. So when are we going to say enough is enough and really protect the ones we say we love, which are our innocents, our children, our babies? They're coming for them while we sit and we remain complacent. When all it would take is a few people, like minds, to work together to create these villages, to do this thing, to pool our resources to protect our children. Pool our resources together. Yes, it's hard as one person to purchase land. It is very hard. Because you got to get your credit right. You got to fix certain things. You got to do certain things. But imagine if we pull our resources together and came together to amass land for ourselves, private land for us and our babies, to grow them, to nurture them, to have watchful eyes, grow our own food, make our own food. so we could nurture our bodies correctly. Study these things. We make our own curriculum for our own children so we can teach them what they need to know and what they need to learn. Stop giving that responsibility to your enemy. You can't do that. An enemy isn't a color. It's not a color. It's a certain group of people who have a certain agenda, who want to do strange things that have never been heard of, like block out the sun. What did the sun ever do to you? Like for real, for real. We need to really start opening our eyes and seeing what is going on in this world. Putting our hand in the proverbial sand like an ostrich is not going to make it stop. It is not. So what are we waiting for? It's time to start taking action. I myself, I try to reach out to my family to make them think about certain things and understand certain things. And I don't know how well that is going, but I do know my cousin. She is my cousin Cassandra. I love you, girl. She is on it. And I know there are other people in the family that their eyes are open. All I want is us to think about what we're allowing to happen. Because yes, we're allowing this. Cut off access to our children, if nothing else. Can we please just pull our babies out of these schools? Yes, it takes a community to raise children. It's time we get back to that. I'm not saying be willy-nilly. No, we need to exercise discernment and wisdom and order and all of these things. Some women, women were created to love something or someone. Healthy women can nurture a child that has been hurt or harmed back to health. I promise you. I promise you, I know it happened for me when I was younger. The right person loving you and having your best interest at heart can make a world of difference. Remove our babies from their society. Let's start by homeschooling more. We see it every day. There's so much more homeschooling now amongst our people. It's a beautiful thing. It's a very beautiful thing. But we have to think on a bigger scale. We have to think school, hospitals, creating our own constructs, our own villages, our own towns. We don't have to make it public. We do not have to make it public. It takes 250 people to create a township, or it would be private. That's all it takes. 250 people. That's nothing. The problem is trusting each other. Stop trusting the construct and start trusting each other. And we get these lands and we start planning our food, our own food, and understanding how things like fermented vegetables work for the body, kefirs, kombucha, all these things, how they make us better, how they build a stronger us, like probiotic teas make you stronger, literally. Like, we got to stop saying what we can't do or we can't have and start making it do what it do and seeing what we can do. Throwing stuff on the wall and seeing maybe it might work. We don't know, it might work if you're so inclined. All it takes is a spark. Stop allowing your creative spark to be used to your detriment, because that's what's happening right now. We got to flip flop this thing around. We do. We do. Listen, the same things that our forefathers and mothers did for their construct, we have the ability to do for ours and nurture our children so we make them stronger where we were not. So they have an understanding higher even than ours. My grandfather always said, motivate up, baby girl. That's the whole point. I do what I do so you'll be better than me. And so your children will be better than you. And so on and so forth. That's what we have to start doing. We have to start walking out on faith and making this happen. And I don't understand what we're not seeing. But there, by the grace of the Most High, may His will be done. Ariel signing off.